Hello and welcome to another Inside the Recording Studio Tuesday tip. I am Jody Whitesides, and today we're going to be taking a look at the GrooveTubes Vipre mic pre. All right, here we have the GrooveTubes Vipre. In terms of preamps, this is strictly a preamp. It has no EQ, it has no compression, it has no extra special effects. This is an all-tube variable impedance preamp. Let's get started on the input side. Over here, you can plug in an instrument, and a lot of preamps will be able to do both microphones and preamps. This is the instrument input jack for 1/4-inch input. On the back side of the unit are the XLR inputs for microphones. This is our input selection switch. We can switch from a padded instrument input, which brings it down 20 dB. We have our normal instrument input. We have the balance bridge, which is the tubes and for the microphones. And then we have the impedance selection input, which allows us to switch the tubes for variable impedances. And that allows us to go from 300 ohms to 600 ohms, 1200 ohms to 2400 ohms. Much older microphones tend to use much lower impedances. More modern microphones tend to use much higher impedances. There's also a polarity switch in case you need to reverse the polarity, meaning that if it's starting negative and you need it to start positive, you can flip the switch and reverse the signal. There's a high pass filter. Then there's the gain knobs. We have two of them. There's a 5 dB gain knob, and then there's a 1 dB gain knob. The 5 dB gain goes from 20 dB all the way up to 70 dB, and the 1 dB gain knob goes from -5 in 1 dB increments up to 0, and then from there up to +5. Thus, if we wanted to get 44 dB, we can go one of two ways. We can go 40 dB plus 4 dB, or we can go 45 dB to -1 dB. That's an insane amount of gain. It is all tube gain. Moving on over, we have a VU meter, which most preamps will have, so you can determine how much signal is actually going into the unit. Then we have a 48 phantom switch as well, in case your microphone requires additional power. And we have an extra special thing that most preamps will never have, which is the rise time. And we can go from slow to medium slow to medium fast to fast. And what that does is it determines how fast the signal that's coming in will flow through the tubes, giving it slightly different reaction times. And that's kind of a specialized thing to the GrooveTubes Vipre. Then we have a mute switch, standby on switch, and the power on off switch. And that right there gets us up to 75 dB of pure tube power going into whatever your recording source is. Most preamps are going to operate in the same manner. Some of them will come with extra bells and whistles like the compressor or an EQ. Aside from that, the preamp is there to raise a signal to a line level going into your DAW. And that's what a preamp is for.